All right, it is another Tuesday morning, and we are live for episode number 6 of the Buzz About East Brunswick. Now, if you're listening to us at Spotify, iHeart, Apple Music, or Amazon, well, hello, guys.
Hi.
And if you're on YouTube and you're watching us at EBTV, you can always drop us an email at baeb@buzzaboutab.com. I'm Greg T. That's Mayor Cohen. What's
How
going
are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are yourself? Nice,
Fist
bro.
bump.
I got you. All right, so let's catch up. How was the weekend? How'd you
Busy.
What'd you do?
Wow. First of all, a bunch of things over the weekend because we're filled with a lot of things that happen in the spring as people come out of hibernation pretty
Right.
much. So there's all these events in town.
Yeah.
But the big one that we had a full house for was the Star Wars themed performance by our East Brunswick Orchestra.
Yeah, right.
Which was over at the Magnet School.
Okay.
And I don't really think there was an empty seat, but it was very, very cool. And a lot of people showed up all dressed up in their Star Wars outfits, and we had a little rolling R2-D2.
That is pretty
Yeah,
neat to
it was
see everybody
very good.
get all dressed up. And, look, there's some people that legitimately get paid to dress up like Star Wars creatures and
There's
then go on
that
out.
whole Comic-Con series.
Yeah.
And people come in with all the different costumes from Star Wars, Darth Vader
Yeah,
themes.
that's what
people-
I'm saying. Yeah. And they go they're really elaborate, some of these. And some people put a lot of money into, and they actually purchase, lightsabers, like real deal stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't believe it. It's really amazing.
No, some of them, it just almost becomes their personality.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I'm Darth Vader. And sometimes I actually think the people
Right.
that have I don't want to make fun of people, but those things that you use for sleep apnea, they make that.
Oh, right.
It sounds
the
like
CPAP
Darth.
machine, the CPAP machine, yeah.
It
Right.
sounds like Darth. Like, I don't like. How do you sleep with that?
Can I tell you, sidebar here, I know we're still talking about the symphony, though, so I have sleep apnea, and the doctor prescribed that to me, that CPAP machine, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So when we got it, and I brought it home, and I opened it up, and I saw that, I immediately did what you think I did. I put it on, and I went walking around the house like this. I'm saying to my wife, I'm like, Trisha, you want to sleep next to this? And I couldn't get past it. I know that I'm doing myself a disservice by not using it.
I'm your father.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's really that. Like, I don't know if people really understand. Like, I get that sleep apnea is a bad thing. I understand that.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
guess I think it's kind of almost hypocritical that now you finally get to sleep and that machine is so loud that your spouse is up all night long. So nobody ever gets a whole night's sleep.
No, you don't. And I just could not imagine it. I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, is this really? It was to myself. I'm thinking, this is really what I'm going to end up like sleeping like with this machine on my face. So, needless to say, I did myself a disservice and I returned it. And I said, I can't.
I think they have a lot better machines now that aren't nearly as bad.
I can't. People say it's really incredible. They get a great night's sleep, but I can't imagine
And
sleeping
they
next to something
actually
like that.
wake up rested, which they probably hadn't had in
Yeah.
a very long time.
Well, listen, you're the doctor here. You would be the one to know, but I cannot. I'm gonna have to listen. I guess I'm gonna die in my sleep one day because I can't live. I
don't
can't
say that.
All right.
Don't
Well,
say that.
so get
But
back
the
to-
concert was
yeah,
great.
the concert was great
It was
though, huh?
unbelievable, and like I said, full house. And have to say the orchestra is really, really good, and it's mostly people that
Yeah.
are right in our immediate area.
That's cool.
So and they want to do this. So and I think the thing that drew people out was that it's themes that were immediately recognizable to everybody.
Right. No, and I think so. They did like the theme. Did they do any
And
other?
they also had a screen up that showed pictures of different scenes from Star Wars that were associated
That's really
with
cool. So it complements the music.
Yes.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
So they really thought about how they're going to really do it. Right. May the 4th be with you. They really went all out. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That
That's great.
sounds really cool.
So,
and then I noticed that you're still visiting some parks. Mm-hmm. At some point, some people are going to say you're creeping on people in the park.
Well, I don't know why they would say that, because 3/4 of the parks that I went to, there was absolutely no one there.
Okay.
So I want people to know about them. I want them to visit it. But, the big ones that everybody knows about, the popular ones.
Yeah.
Bicentennial, Great
Right.
Oak Park. Those are always they're in easily noticeable places.
Right.
But a lot of the parks that I visited, I was the only one there.
Wow, interesting.
So I want people to discover them.
I actually like following you on Facebook, that you're in all these different parks. I think it's kind of neat. So, and if you guys are, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, so Mayor Cohen is really doing his due diligence by showing everybody here in East Brunswick all the different parks that East Brunswick has. And I think the residents, I think they're liking it. Some of the comments are cool, but I enjoy like seeing and trying to figure out which park you're in.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of neat.
I haven't even started on the open space that the town owns and the county has right here in East Brunswick. And most people don't, that there's trails that are set up in many of them. And they were done and made open space so that we could utilize them.
Yeah.
And if you add that to what the township already manages, we have thousands of acres and miles of trails that people could be using, and we just don't know about it.
Interesting question I have about the open space. How does that actually work for a township? I mean, I know we're going to get to so many other things, but you kind of sparked an interest in me. So do you declare it? Does the mayor declare we want X amount of acres as open space? Does the state step in? How does that actually all work?
There's several ways, but we have township open space, there's county open space, and those are all voted on by the public. So if you want to have the town hold areas aside as open space, it's voted on as a referendum.
Oh, it is?
And we have to purchase that property with your tax dollars, which is why we need your permission to do that.
Oh, interesting. I never knew. I see the signs. This is open space. I just never knew how somebody declares it.
There are things you could do on open space as long as it is really made for recreational areas that are no enclosed buildings, passive type of use.
Okay, gotcha.
So you could have trails, you could have people doing frisbee. Those are all you could utilize that for those purposes. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense. You can't enclose a building.
Right.
So
of course I get that.
As an example, in Old Bridge they have a ice rink.
Yeah, right.
That is on
a 516 over
it's actually a Green Acres space, which is similar but state owned.
Okay.
And you can't enclose the walls. So they have a rink with one wall that's completely open to the outside.
That's correct. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's why.
So it has to be like that. Wow, interesting.
So there's space, and then the county has open space here. Ireland Brook property is all, actually I think it's a little bit of East Brunswick and a little bit of South Brunswick.
Really?
But it is a massive amount of property with vernal ponds that all of us many times will go out to Beekman Road.
Yeah, right.
And we'll see the little salamanders that are crossing.
Yeah, with the salamander crossing. That's right.
You don't realize because you're going out at night to see that. But if you go during the day, you could walk around these trails and you could see these ponds where they're coming from, and it's just unbelievable that you're actually in East Brunswick, that not far from where you are is the Turnpike and Route 1 and Route 130. They're not that far.
Right.
And yet you would be completely convinced that you're in the middle of the wilderness somewhere. It's magnificent.
And hence why you are the mayor. I had no idea.
But I
That's
don't
very
see
cool.
anybody out there. There's so few people that are utilizing that space. But they all know how to comment about Route 18.
I do think
that they do.
Yeah, of course. But I think that you're bringing it to everybody's attention. I think the more, when I was with radio, they used to always say you need to continue to do these segments over and over and over again to get through to people. And I think that by you going out to a park, people, it's not going to hit people immediately when they see you at one park, but you're going to have to continue to go to several parks.
Yeah, I think now that I'm on day 21, 22, 23, because there's still another park.
Listen, East Brunswick's got a lot of property. They do. It's a very big town.
It's true.
But I think, you said you have to continue to go out and do your due diligence. But I think I love what you're doing. I really do. I like trying to figure out exactly where you are. And sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I can't figure out where you're at. But
actually, former Mayor Neary used to do a segment for EBTV, I believe. And it would be, where am I in East Brunswick? And he would just park himself somewhere, and people were like, where the heck is he? And the reality is that he wasn't far off of a main road most of the time, but people drive by so quickly, and you look at stuff on the side of the road, and you don't realize where you are and what's around you.
Right, you're not paying attention to it. Yeah.
I think now with a lot of the GPS in your car, you could actually look at what's around, and if you actually look at what's there, like, wow. I mean, some of the property's privately owned, so you can't just go walk it on that.
I get it. Yeah, no, I get it.
But there's a lot that isn't. And those are the spots that I'm trying to highlight and let people come out and visit them.
I think you're doing a great job. I really am. I like I said, I enjoy watching it. I'm sure other people watch it. I like their comments and stuff like that. So, hey, let me ask you, what'd you have for dinner last night? This has been on my mind, and I have an issue. I'm bringing it up. I'm raising it up. What'd you have for dinner last night?
I had leftovers.
Did you eat leftovers?
I did.
All right, so you had leftovers. Okay, fine. So last night, I didn't have any leftovers. I actually had to do something that I didn't want to do. So I don't mind. At my house, I'm the guy that has to barbecue, right?
Oh.
So I was running late. So I said to my wife, and I'm going to air it out right here. We haven't aired out a single kind of one grievance about each other's homes, but I'm going to air it out right now. So I want to pick your brain on this. So I was running late last night. So I called my wife and I'm like, hey, listen, I know I have to do the chicken and whatever. I said, can you please throw it on the barbecue? And she said to me, I don't do that. And I said, what do you mean you don't do that? She's like, so when was the last time you ever saw me grill? And I said, you're right, I have it, but I know that I'm running late, and I know that both of our daughters have to go to dance. So can you please just start by throwing the chicken on the grill, and then as soon as I get home, I'll take care of it. So she says, no, I don't barbecue. Could you believe that? No, I don't barbecue. So I wanted to know, does your wife barbecue?
Yes,
she does.
We like doing it, and we often fight over who does the barbecue. It's the part that we don't like is cleaning up.
Yeah, cleaning up sucks. I agree. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, especially.
But we do have division of labor in the house. Right. Like I do not clean the house.
Okay, so you don't,
and I don't do laundry.
Okay, so let's go down that. Okay, that's great.
I do the garbage.
Fine. All right, so okay, you don't do laundry and you don't do the cleaning, but you do garbage.
Well, I mean,
takeout.
We decided at the very beginning that well, I'll tell you what I did.
There's some lanes.
I'll tell you what I did.
Yeah, please do.
I completely destroyed her laundry.
Oh.
And then
that's how you got out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I hate doing it.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, maybe we should divide up all the work. I'm like, okay, well, I totally destroyed her laundry. She goes, you will never touch the laundry again.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? No, I do not like the way you do it. You destroyed the laundry. I'll do the laundry. You do the garbage. It's fine. It's what I wanted anyway.
All right. So okay. Well, you know what? We didn't declare the lanes. We kind of fell into each other's lanes, and I do understand that the barbecue. I'm the prime guy on the barbecue. But when I needed something, I just figured, what's the big deal?
She should be able to pitch in for
exactly. Thank you very much. Because I just couldn't understand it. I'm like, so now you're going to make everybody wait because you don't want to go to the grill. And she's like, I don't know how to turn it on. But I'm like, yes, you do. You clearly know.
It's not that hard.
Right? It's not that hard. But so I do garbage in my house as well. I do garbage takeout and bring it back in.
I just don't want to clean the house. I mean, the two of us are working. We both have full-time jobs.
Sure.
And so there's not a lot of time. And we used to bring someone in to clean.
Yeah, right, clean.
And then my wife was very picky about the way the person didn't clean well enough.
Right, I get you.
So she got rid of each person because they would not do it to her liking. So then she looked at me and like, well, I'm not doing it.
You're not doing it.
So if you want to do that it's a big house, a lot of work. I don't think you should do it, but if you want to do it.
So emptying the dishwasher in my house is a problem.
I'll do that. That's
I won't. It's so annoying. I hear the clanging of the dishes. It drives me nuts. So I don't want to do. Okay, so that's where I won't do that. But I got it. It really ticked me off.
We just argue over what goes in and how clean it should be before you put it into the dishwasher. Because I know she's 100% right that the companies tell you that you don't need to clean off plates.
Yeah, but it's not a disposal. You still have to clean off the plates before you put it in there.
No. Actually, these machines today are meant to be able to clean it with all the food that's still kind of stuck to it.
But then where's the food going to go? You can't. The food's got to come off the plate first.
No, it's set up to handle that. Which and I know she's right about that.
Yeah.
It's just that there's only two of us in the house now.
Right, I get you.
So if you leave that into the dishwasher for a day or two, it starts to smell.
Absolutely.
So I do like to wash it off before it goes into the dishwasher. Not because I don't think the dishwasher can do it.
But it's going to get disgustingly, it's going to gross. It's going to start smelling. You're right.
So that's usually a discussion where we disagree. No, you don't need to do that. I keep telling you not to do it. And we have friends that come over when we have big meals.
Right.
And they all do the same thing. And she argues with them that they don't need to do it. But I think that, and I know she's right. The companies will back her up. She's right.
All right.
But I can't do it.
Okay, so now, but you agree and I agree that she should have barbecued yesterday.
Yes.
Done. Thank you very much. Just for the record, Trish, I'm sure you're watching this right now. The mayor says you should have been barbecuing last night. Thank you. All right, listen, guys, we got to take our very first break, and we got to find out what's going on in and around East Brunswick. And when we get back, today is a very special day, so we're going to tell you exactly what today is. And we also want to talk about it. Last week, we put you out there to solicit to see if people want to come on the show, and we finally booked our very first guest. So we're going to reveal who our very first guest is, and we're going to talk about the very special day right after this. This is In and Around East Brunswick.
The East Brunswick Police Department is currently accepting applications for the annual Junior Police Academy. The Junior Police Academy is being held this year at the East Brunswick High School between July 7th and July 11th. To be eligible to attend, individuals must be between the ages of 13 and 17 and reside in East Brunswick or attend a school within the township of East Brunswick. This one-week program provides an excellent opportunity for young members of the community to get a better understanding of how the East Brunswick Police Department operates and how police officers serve and protect our community. Registration is now open on the East Brunswick Parks and Recreation website. The deadline for registrations this year will be Sunday, May 11th. Due to the high number of anticipated applicants, we recommend you submit your applications as soon as possible, as the class size is limited to 30 spots. If you have any questions, you can contact the East Brunswick Police Department's Community Policing Unit at 732-390-6938 or via email at communitypolicing@ebpd.net. Thank you, and we hope to see you there.
Hey East Brunswick, did you know that the East Brunswick Public Library is a vibrant community hub offering a wide range of services and programs for residents of all ages?
There's a lot going on in the East Brunswick Library.
The East Brunswick Public Library is an official passport acceptance facility. It also hosts a diverse array of events, including author talks, craft workshops, and educational sessions.
We're in the library.
Open 7 days a week. Visit ebpl.org.
There's a lot going on at the public library.
And unlock your next East Brunswick adventure. All right, and we are back, and that's a little segment about what is going on in and around East Brunswick. I'm Greg T. That is Mayor Cohen. You're listening to us on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Music, or Amazon. What's up, guys? Thank you very much for paying attention to us. And if you're on YouTube, well, then, of course, you guys are watching us on EBTV, and you can always drop us an email at baeb@buzzabouteb.com. Thank you very much. And today is a special day.
Yes.
And as you can see, we already have the sign out. We love our teachers. Today is National Teacher Appreciation Day.
I have that sign on my front lawn.
Do you really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's a really nice. It's a nice sign here, and what a way to show homage to our great teachers. And so, anyway, any teacher that you can recall, made an imprint in you in your life.
I have a bunch of teachers that
I know for me, it was in East Brunswick. I was a senior in East Brunswick High School, and there was a teacher by the name of Mr. Michaud. And Mr. Michaud, he taught sociology, and he was an older gentleman, and he really tried to get the best out of each and every one of us. And I remember him looking into each and every one of us, and I remember him saying, not everybody's going to be perfect. Not everybody's going to be Mr. Cool or Mr. Popular or the big athlete, but there's something special in each and every one of us. And I really loved that he didn't gloss over it. That day in and day out, every single class, he would go around the room and try to get something out of each and every one of us. And he never let anybody in the room laugh or smirk or make fun. He wanted to really know about each and every one of us. And I was like, wow. How many teachers actually stop down to care about all the students?
That's a great quality.
It really is. And that, to me, it made a lasting imprint for me forever. And I've taken that with me now. If ever I go to a school, meet with children, I always, I'll try to find some of the kids that are maybe out
quieter and ones
Yep. And I try to talk to those kids, a lot. And be like, hey, come on. I bring them into the fold.
No,
so
I think that's great.
Mr. Michaud was the guy for me.
I had a science teacher, anatomy and biology by the name of Claire Pompey when I was up in Parsippany Hills.
Parsippany Hills.
Because we actually have two high schools in Parsippany. Parsippany Hills. We were at the hills. And She was also the person who was responsible for the marching band, so she was very strict but we had a great marching band.
Yeah.
And I actually credit her for really sparking that interest in science, because I was actually thinking of going into music. I really was.
I think you actually said that in one of our episodes earlier, that you were really into the clarinet.
Well, I played clarinet and
Right,
sax,
see?
and
I
so I was
remember.
in every possible band, the pit band, the marching band,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
concert band. We went
Right.
to regional and state competitions. And
Yeah.
So it was really a jazz band. That's why I picked up the sax.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I was really thinking of going into music. And at some point, between family saying, "Oh, you can't make a career out of that. You're never going to be able to living.
Yeah.
You're always going to have to worry about being able
Yeah.
to make ends meet." And then the science teachers, who were really just phenomenal, but that one in particular, Miss Pompey, really sparked that interest.
Yeah.
And that's why I took the applications to Juilliard and Oberlin and New England Conservatory back.
Wow.
And started to applying to schools.
I think it's cool. Listen, there's going to be a teacher in each and every one of us that really made that imprint, and it is fascinating to know, how many. There's not many. I mean, there's great teachers out there, but there's always just like one that makes that moment, that makes that imprint in our lives.
Yeah,
out of all the teachers,
we also had just like East Brunswick, we had a phenomenal music department, and the head of the music department, his name was Mr. Mars.
Mr. Mars.
And his wife actually started kids in junior high school.
Yeah.
Goldie Mars.
Okay.
And Donald Mars took them from that point up into the high school. So he was your homeschool. The home room was always band in the morning.
Yeah.
And so we also got a lesson in life before we started out.
That's
So
cool,
it
see?
ended up being, again, another person who kind of directed your life
Yeah.
and gave you life lessons that were completely unrelated often to the subject matter. And
very
those
cool.
are the people you remember.
We love you, teachers. Thank you very much for making
I know. Could
lasting.
you think you could be a teacher?
There was a time where I really did. I wanted to reach out to a lot of kids that I thought, there was a time in my own life where I didn't really know the direction of where I wanted to go, know? And I just thought that if I had a moment to sit down with another young kid like myself, I could help them direct their lives and make the right decisions. So I think I would have made a really good teacher. I do. I think about it now. Could I still be a teacher? And teach life lessons of things that I've learned and what I've come across. I think I've had some really good experiences, and I think I could be a really good teacher.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't think I could be.
No,
No.
really. But you're a doctor. I think that because you're a doctor, I think you can make a really good teacher. I think so. You have a lot of patience.
You know what? I do, but I want people to get it quickly.
I see.
And I think that's the thing that I find fascinating about teachers is that they have an unbelievable amount of patience
Right.
to be able to explain things multiple different ways. And when someone isn't really getting it, they figure out a different way of being able to teach them. I don't know if I could do that. I've gotten
Gotcha.
so used to being able to be around people who get it right away
Immediately.
that I sometimes get frustrated with myself that somebody isn't getting it. And I don't
All right,
know,
that's
is it
interesting.
me that I'm not explaining it right?
No,
or
I
is
get
it
it.
that person that isn't understanding it?
Yeah.
And that's the art of being a teacher, is being able to figure out
Right.
multiple ways on the spot
Yeah, having the patience for
to,
kids.
to do that. I even,
Interesting.
when I was over at the hospital as dealing with residents.
Right.
And these are people who are quite bright. They've made it through medical school. They're now in residency. And I don't expect to have to explain something twice.
Got you.
And when you do, I just want to,
Right.
I have to step back and say,
So you noticed it then, right? You noticed it then that you may not have been, you're not cut out to be a teacher, right? You can learn, but you need a specific person
I'll
to teach to.
teach something. I'll
Yeah.
explain it to you.
It's gotta be quick.
But
I get you.
I don't want to have to do it twice.
All right, I understand. I get you. Listen, it takes that's tough. Calling yourself out about it. Admitting your own faults. I get it. I understand.
That's why I admire them. It's a really important job. They're
Yep.
training basically the next generation.
You're right.
They spend more time in the classroom with their teacher than they probably even do with their parents on a
right.
regular basis.
You're right.
So it's a critical role, and we should respect them.
No, you're right. You're right. All right. Well, listen, we love our teachers.
We do.
National Teacher Appreciation Day. So hats off and thank you very much to all the teachers that teach our kids. Now, so last week we put you up to the task and we said we want someone that is interesting enough to come onto the show. Maybe they have an interesting hobby. Maybe they collect something. Maybe they're a singer-songwriter.
Right.
We don't know, but if you've
A lot of talented people here.
lot of talented people, but we're looking for interesting people that might want to come by and be here on the podcast. And the doors are open to everybody. And drop us an email. If you fit that description, please drop us an email at baeb@buzzabouteb.com and I'll write back to you and we'll try to book a date.
Put another seat here. And
That's right. No problem. And listen, in a couple of weeks, we are going to talk to somebody that's in charge of Crystal Springs here. But our first official real guest, it's happening. So I would like you to tell everybody, Mr. Mayor, there was a place that's here in East Brunswick that you are just very fond of, and it's a home that decorates very exquisite for Halloween, right?
Correct.
So go ahead, tell me how it all happened.
So every year around Halloween, there's a
big display.
It's a huge display right
Yeah.
on Milltown Road. And everybody talks about it. Everybody stops by, or they'll slow down, which really annoys people because then you got cars backing up, beeping at each another as they're looking out at the display. But it's really, really nice. And every year it just seems to be growing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have asked, who is this? Where do they find all these things from? So I just figured, knock on the door.
I can't believe. So what the Mayor Cohen is alluding to is there were a couple of weeks that we were talking about having a guest on the show, and I remember clearly, like he would tell me or somebody else that was in the room with us, we need to find out who this person is, and nobody was getting it done. Let's be honest, I wasn't getting it done. I didn't know where this person was. I know there was some chatter about who is this person, how do we get in touch with this person. So you took it upon yourself. He literally, I swear, guys, the mayor took it upon himself, went over to the house. I'm laughing because I can't imagine it. So, because I talked to him now.
I do. Elections, I knock on doors all
That's
the time.
true.
Even when it's not elections,
That's true.
I sometimes knock. Hey, how am I doing? What's going on? What do you think? What's important? So it's not uncommon for me to knock on doors.
Well, so his name is Frank. So me and your assistant Tracy, we spoke to him. We called him up and we said, "Hey, how you doing, Frank? This is the township of East Brunswick. Blah blah blah." And we said to him, "We said, how did this whole thing happen?" And he said, I was at home. Somebody knocked at the door. I went to the door, and there was the mayor.
Should have dressed up in a costume.
That would have been even better if you would have dressed up in a costume for Halloween.
You're like a goblin or
and he said he was literally standing right there at my doorstep, and he just said, "Hey, I'm the mayor of East Brunswick. Blah blah blah. This and that about having the podcast. Would you like to come on?" And he's really excited. To be honest, he is. He's very flattered. He's excited. He wants to come in. He wants to talk about his Halloween decorations.
We should ask people to ask or send in questions we should ask when he's here, because I'm sure people have driven by and they all thinking the same thing.
Good question. You're right. So, guys, if you know who we're talking about, and I don't know how you could not, but here in East Brunswick, right off of Milltown Road, is that house that everybody drives by for Halloween. And, if you'd like to, if you have some questions yourself that you want us to ask Frank, but Frank is now scheduled for May 27th.
Yep.
So, May 27th, he will be here, and he's going to be live with us, and we're really excited to interview him. But if you have any questions yourself, then please drop us an email at baeb@buzzabouteb.com, and we'll be happy to get your questions to Frank on that Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. There's been times when you knock on doors and people ask the silliest questions, or they're shocked that are you really the mayor? Don't you have people to do that for you?
Oh my God.
Or sometimes they answer in the most or open in the most inappropriate clothing. So it's like, you can go back and change.
Because you got to realize, though, I mean, Okay, listen. I love the fact that you're the kind of mayor that goes out and you hang out in public and you go out with everybody. I get that, but you really are just one person that all these people have voted for. So when you show up to somebody's house, it's like
But
the mayor's
even
here.
those that didn't vote for me, I
Right.
mean, you call the office and you ask for help or ask for us to do something for you and ask, oh, did you vote for me or not? No.
Wow.
You vote. You work for everybody.
That's true. You do. You're right. All right. So there you go. So in 2 weeks, May 27th. No, I'm sorry. In 3 weeks, May 27th, we're going to have Frank here. We're calling him Halloween Frank. We'll get to his last name and everything. So Halloween Frank will be here with us on May 27th. And we're going to talk to him, interview him, and talk about all his and all the stuff. And he's going to send us video and pictures.
Oh,
so
that's
for
great.
people at home that are watching us on YouTube, they'll be actually able to see, what his house really looks like and everything.
Pressure's on for him this year. He's
Yeah.
got to really up his game now.
He's going to
right?
have to now. He's really going to have to. He's like, yeah. All right, guys. So listen, we got to take another break and show you guys a little bit more about what's going on in and around East Brunswick. And when we get back, we've got more here with the Buzz About East Brunswick with Mayor Cohen and myself, Greg T. I'm with the Director of Planning and Engineering here in East Brunswick, Keith Kipp.
90,000 square foot ice arena. It's got 2 NHL-sized rinks inside. We designed in the load for solar panels on the roof. Team lockers and guest lockers. TV screen to announce who's playing on what ice. 10-foot viewing area where you can view the play on the ice. I'm very proud of this project. It's been a great conglomeration between the township, the council, and the contracting and design team have been excellent.
The East Brunswick Parks and Recreation is now open for registration for this year's spring and summer camp. Head over to whatever app store that you use to download your favorite apps. Search East Brunswick Recreation, the new Parks and Rec app will pop up and then you download. Soon as it's finished, you'll be greeted by the EB Bear. Just click on Day Camp and there you go. The new registration page will just pop right up. Click registration and you're in. It's all inside the new EB Parks and Rec app. Have a great summer, everybody. All right, and we are back again, and that is a little segment about in and around East Brunswick. I'm Greg T. This is Mayor Cohen. Thank you guys very much for being a part of today's episode of The Buzz About East Brunswick. If you're listening to us on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Music, or Amazon, well, thank you guys very much. And
Thank
please
you.
tell all your friends and pass it along. And if you're watching us right now on YouTube at EBTV26, well, hello, guys, and thanks again for being a part of our episode. Drop us an email at baeb@buzzabouteb.com, and maybe, again, like we just got done talking about, maybe you can come aboard and be a part of, next week's episode. You never know.
You never know.
You never know. What we do know is that next week is Mother's Day. What do you guys got planned?
Well, this week.
So that's right. You know what? I'm thinking about where we are, and you're right. So this coming weekend,
This weekend.
is Mother's Day. So what do you guys got planned?
We're doing barbecue. Well, actually, my mother-in-law is going to be over at the house for breakfast.
Okay.
We have to be very careful because she's in assisted living, so she really can
Okay.
only have a small dose time
Right.
with the family.
I
So
get
we're
it, I
doing
get it.
breakfast with her.
Okay.
And then my side of the family more comes for the barbecue the whole afternoon.
Right, later on, yeah.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure things out about what we're going to do, but this was the first year that I said to my wife, like I always do, I'm always like, Trish, what do you want to do for Mother's Day? And she out of nowhere was like, you know what? My daughters are old enough, because I have 2 daughters. She's like, they're old enough now to figure it out on their own. And I said, well, that doesn't bode well for me. I still need to know what you want to do.
But they don't trust you to come up with anything? Is that what it is?
I think they don't. And I said, Trish, for real, what do you want to do? But she is really adamant about it this year, that she really and truly doesn't want to be a part of the planning of anything. And she really just wants my 2 daughters to kind of like figure out what they want to do for their mom. And
Well, actually, that is the point of Mother's Day. They do
is.
deserve a break.
Yeah, I
And
get
so,
it. Right, and that's what she's saying. She's like, how come I have to plan everything? She's like, I do everything every single day of the year, and now all of a sudden it's Mother's Day.
I'm on her side on that
On
one.
this one, you're on her side
Yeah,
on?
absolutely.
All right, so the barbecue, you're saying she could have barbecued, but for the Mother's Day thing, you're totally on her side for this
Yeah,
one.
absolutely. That's what it's about.
See, I
And
don't
you'll
know.
make up for it on Father's Day when you're going to do absolutely nothing and everybody take care of you.
Okay, good. Okay, you're half right there, because I had said to her, I said, when it comes to Father's Day, I will always tell her like, hey, I really need a new golf club, which I really do sometimes, or I'll say, get me this outfit, or I really want to go to this show. Let's just tie it into Father's Day. Maybe we'll get tickets to go to a Yankee game. Bring it, let's tie it into Father's Day. So I don't mind throwing out those ideas, and every single year, Trisha's always thrown out those ideas, but this is the first time where she's adamant about, I want nothing to do with this. I want you to plan,
I get
let
it,
them
though.
to plan it.
I get it.
I don't-
get it.
so-
There's so many good things. First of all, you go on the internet and you could say things to do for Mother's Day.
Well,
you
that's
probably
what I'm
get
doing.
a list of things that
That's
you could.
what I'm doing. So I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want to do breakfast or brunch because it's always just jam-packed.
Oh no, that I won't do. Plus,
Right.
it's never really as good, and it's way overpriced, and it's crowded.
I agree.
So I'd rather do it on my own.
Yeah.
Which is what we're going to end up doing. It more often than not, it's figuring out which one of the siblings is going to be the one to have everybody over this year.
Well, that's what I'm doing. It was so funny. Before you walked in, I was right in the middle of calling my sister. I have two sisters, and I wanted to find out which one is hosting this year, because I host everything at my house. I'm not hosting Mother's Day, also. So I already called my dad, and he said, call Stacy. So I called Stacy. She didn't answer, but I want to find out like what is the plan, like where we're going and what we're doing. But I'm really stuck, and I don't think my two daughters are creative enough to get my wife a present. I really don't know what they're gonna do.
It is getting a little late. They should try
I know.
to get on it already.
Today's Tuesday. I hear you. Right, we're just a couple of days away, and my kids are going to be like, well, Dad, you always tell us what to do. And I really fear that this is going to be a failure of a Mother's Day, and then it's going to fall back on my plate. I'm going to be the one that's in trouble on this one.
Yeah, no. I also be very careful in the gifts that you give. Like,
Give me
there's
some pointers.
Well, you never give things like a new iron broke, so now we will give you a new one. That's like stuff you do all the time. That's not a Mother's Day
Right,
gift.
like no rumba, no vacuum. Right, I got you.
No.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you really have to do a little bit in ingenuity into figuring out something that's innovative or different.
Right.
It's hard to do that because you use them up after a while.
You're right. What about jewelry? Do you think that jewelry is a Mother's Day gift?
Jewelry's hard because
Right.
every woman has different taste when it comes to jewelry. So you might think something's beautiful,
Right.
and then you give it to your spouse. I guess what happens early on, they'll say, "Oh, isn't that beautiful?" Even though they're thinking, "Ugh,
Right.
I would never have picked that out for
And
myself."
I always think that
But
expensive.
as you get further on in marriage,
yeah,
or the years start to accumulate,
right.
they're usually more honest, and they'll tell you, Brad, that would you really be upset if I come back and turn that in for something else? Which I would never be upset over, because I think jewelry, you have to really love it.
That's true. That's true. No, listen, we've gone through that already. There's been a couple of pieces that my wife has kind of been like, you remember when you got me this? And I'm like, but it's kind of nostalgic. Let's keep that. And she's like, let's not. And I'm like, really? And so it kind of hurts my feelings. But I was talking, so the jewelry though, but I think like jewelry is great for like their birthday, or like a holiday, maybe Valentine's Day. But is jewelry a Mother's Day gift? That's what I don't know. I think like when I think of Mother's Day, softer, sweeter, something different than jewelry.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that.
What's your
I
thoughts?
think that being together with your family is really what these holidays are about. It doesn't always have to be about a gift. Something small, even flowers, even chocolate, something that going out to or spending time together.
Right.
It doesn't always have to be something that's worth a lot of money.
I like it.
And because today we're all on busy schedules, we're never together, so
Families, we're running around. The family dynamic is so different these
so
days.
that's good. And I think even getting together with family is important.
Yeah.
A lot of times I talk to people and they say, "Are you going to get together with family?" "Oh, we don't really have family." But if you really talk to them, a lot of times maybe an older generation passed away, and now the cousins don't really talk to one another because they were all kept together by the generation ahead of them.
Sure.
But we've made an effort in our family not to do that. Even when people have passed, we still keep together with cousins.
That's
so
great.
when we sit down for whether it's Passover or any other type of big family event, Thanksgiving, it's just massive.
Right,
Because
right.
we talk to all of our cousins, all of our siblings. We can get angry every once in a while at one another, but you got to get past that. Don't hold grudges forever. And we definitely do not talk about politics. That we have
Please.
this big poster.
Yeah. Do not
These
talk
are
about
the
politics.
do not topics.
I think we talked about it, a couple of episodes ago, where we have one in the family that always wants to bring up politics, and it stirs the pot. And you're right. I'll be honest with you. If my wife, because my wife hates talking about politics, if politics comes up at Mother's Day, rest assured she's going to get up and leave. It'll ruin Mother's Day completely.
Yeah, no.
So we will not be discussing
there.
politics. It's not going to happen. Yeah, for some reason, it gets her to the point of like frustration. So nobody wants to be frustrated on that day, Father's Day, Mother's Day.
No, it's a off topic. Don't talk about it.
I like how you said like chocolates are nice, spending time with the family.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what we could do is if we bring in the brunch ahead of time, so we have it at the house, or if it's delivered that day, then we can have a brunch with the family. I think my wife would really like that. That would be nice. Then I don't have to cook or clean either, and she doesn't want to do that.
You're not going to clean?
Well,
just going to leave all that stuff out there?
I'll clean up once that's done, but if somebody else wants to bring it in, then I don't have to do the cooking. That's because I'm not a good chef at all. I can barbecue, but I can't make eggs and stuff. I can't do all that. So maybe we can order a nice brunch in. That might not be a bad idea.
And so, do you put it on paper or do you actually use regular plates?
I'm using regular plates. Yeah, why? You think?
A lot of people love to just throw disposable stuff out. First of all, that's terrible for the environment.
Yeah.
But no, we make a big deal about usually putting it on real plates. And
I'll put it
means
down. Yeah.
You got to clean that up.
Oh, well, I'll put it into the dishwasher. I will, of course, clean the dishes first.
Got it.
You'll
fill the dishwasher, but you won't empty it.
I will not. I cannot stand
man.
empty dishwasher. The clanging of the dishes drives me nuts. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. It just drives me wild, man. I can't do it. Well, I think that you really did. You brought something up though. I like that. Sweet and soft for Mother's Day and a gathering with the family. I like that. I like that idea. I do like that. That's great. All right, moving on to something new that's happening here in and around East Brunswick is what is going on down on the other end of East Brunswick, the Vermella site. So Keith Kipp was able to drive me around and show me around what's going on at the old Loman's Plaza there.
Right.
That is not, let me just tell you something. Like, I've driven past on Route 18, and it looks pretty large, but actually being there, that really is a massive undertaking. That is something else.
Yeah. No, it's a huge project.
It is a huge project.
And they have...
but it's going to be beautiful.
When it's done, it's going to be magnificent. If you've driven onto Route 1 and seen the project that he's done called the Ray, which is where the old Sears building used to be.
Oh, yeah, on Route 1, right?
On Route 1.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And it's now actually open, so if you wanted to, you can go in and see what that's going to look like. And Ed Russo and Warren Waters, who are putting this project together for us at Vermella, promise that ours is going to be even nicer.
Yeah.
So I think that it's going to be eye-popping. There's going to be retail there, beautiful 3-acre park in the middle of all of it.
The renditions of what it's going to look like looks great.
Absolutely.
It really does.
There's townhouses that'll be for sale. So people that really want to own something.
Right.
And then probably some higher-end grocers and restaurants that the town will own that will overlook the park. So I think when it's done, our concept has always been that we're not looking to build an apartment complex.
No.
We're building communities. East Brunswick is really multiple small communities. They each have their own charm. They're each character, each a little bit different. And I think that our goal in accommodating what we had to do was to create just another community.
Yeah, no,
and
it looks
beautiful. It's really going to be nice.
It really is. So I'm working on a 4-part video series called From the Ground Up, where Keith took me around at some of the different sites that are going on here in East Brunswick, and one of them was the Vermella site. And I have to tell you, I forgot how much how much of acres and acres of property is over there. Just tremendous amount. It's not just the one side. I mean, and it goes all the way back to the old Toys R Us back then.
It's a huge piece of property.
Tremendous.
And if you think about it, there's a lot of people who come into office, and if they do one project like this in their entire career as mayor, that would be a biggie.
No, this
we're
is huge.
doing many of them.
And it's not just one stage, there's many stages of this whole entire thing. Yeah. But I wanted to tell you that so that I'm working on it. So Keith gave me a fantastic tour, really, really a great tour. I'm telling you, I had to wear the hard hat and everything. But I think by the end of next week, that portion, the Vermella portion of the video will be coming out. You're going to love what I put together. It's going to be great. It's great. Something for you guys to look forward to watching as well. Because when you're driving up and down Route 18, you're like, what is going on? Wait till you see. I had the inside scoop as to what really is going on there. It's really, really neat.
Yeah, no, and what they've been doing is the company itself has been putting drones over so that they're periodically taking pictures of the work so they can have almost a one of those time films where you could see everything.
Time lapse. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Well, it looks great.
And they've done actually the same thing with the rink. We have that as well.
So that's stage 4. So after the Vermella, then Keith took me back over. I was there one time already. Now he took me back over to the second time now for the ice rink. So that'll be my next video. That won't be out for like another 2 weeks. But when that whole thing is out, I mean, the progression of what's going on at the ice rink is tremendous as well. It's really great.
The whole thing when it's done is going to be a very nice, walkable type of community where they all connect to one another. And the restaurant, the nightlife, it'll actually have a vibe to it, which is what we're looking for.
Yep.
And it's this tiny little section of the highway. It's not all 24 square miles of East Brunswick.
But when it's all said and done, it is going to look beautiful. Right. It is, yeah. Well, listen, guys, I think today was a great episode. It really was. Nice job, Mr. Mayor.
Nice
job. This has been the Buzz About East Brunswick. If you'd like to be a part of the show, then please email us at baeb@buzzabouteb.com. Also, you can see us again on YouTube at EBTV26. Just search for the Buzz About East Brunswick. And again, if you're listening to us, on the go, then you're listening to us at Spotify, iHeart, Apple Music, or Amazon. So on behalf of myself, I'm Greg T. Mayor Cohen.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you here next week. I'll see you later. Thanks very much.